A from Season 4 theory explains why the Flight of the Cromenockle book is so important. The from Season 3 finale provided answers to many of the show's long-running mysteries, including the significance of the bottle tree numbers, how the monsters were created, and what the word Ongkui means. With from Season 4 being renewed, the series can now answer more mysteries about the town and the characters who are trapped there. Theorizing for Season 4 has already begun, and this discourse remains a vital part of the show's ongoing popularity. Many of the best from Season 4 theories relate to recent developments, including the introduction of time travel and the villainous man in yellow, Douglas E. Hughes. Other theories are more focused on circling back to details from Season 1 that have not yet been fully explored, one of which is the Flight of the Cromenockle book. The Flight of the Cromenockle book in From Explained. It has been important since Season 1, Episode 1. Ethan, Simon Webster, Jim, Ian Bailey, Tabitha, Catalina Sandino Moreno, and Julie, Hannah Cherami, looking up at the birds and standing in front of the RV in From Season 1, Episode 1. Flight of the Cromenockle by K. Dillon is a children's fantasy novel that Ethan Matthews, Simon Webster, enjoys. Even before the Matthews family gets trapped in the town, there are references to elements from the book, including the setting known as the Lake of Tears. Since the Matthews family had the Flight of the Cromenockle with them during their RV trip, they still have it with them after being trapped in the town, and Tabitha Matthews, Catalina Sandino Moreno, reads it to Ethan. More importantly, Ethan draws many parallels between Flight of the Cromenockle and the town, and these parallels have enabled him to understand the town and its supernatural elements better than most of From's other characters. This has led to theories that Flight of the Cromenockle is more than a children's fantasy book and that it may even be akin to a guide that can help Ethan and the other residents survive and escape the town. A Reddit theory even suggests that Ethan's sister, Julie, could have been the one to write the book. How Julie could have written the Flight of the Cromenockle, and why? It relates to her being a story walker. From Season 3 establishes that Julie is a story walker. As Ethan explains to her, this means that Julie can time travel, but she cannot change what happens. Between Julie being the one who always threw the rope to Boyd Stevens, Harold Perrineau, in Season 2 to being unable to prevent the death of her father, Jim, Ian Bailey, there have already been multiple instances of Julie time traveling without changing the past. However, if Julie is always the one who wrote Flight of the Cromenockle, she would not be changing anything. K. Dillon could be the pseudonym that Julie writes the book under. As for why she would write a children's fantasy novel, it could be because it contains clues that can help Ethan and the other residents. Since Julie cannot change what happens, she cannot time travel and simply tell Ethan and the other characters what they need to know. Instead, she would need to find a more indirect way to communicate that does not change anything, and Flight of the Cromenockle could be the answer to this problem. What Julie writing the story would mean for From Season 4. It would have game-changing implications. Julie Matthews, Hannah Cherami, clutching her head and looking scared in From. Julie's time travel is already expected to be a major part of Season 4's story. However, writing Flight of the Cromenockle goes beyond time travel, as it may mean that Julie temporarily escapes the town. Ethan already has the book and he and his family are already familiar with it before getting trapped, meaning that the novel has already been published in the outside world. One way to get around this could be Tabitha's many past lives in the town, and perhaps she gives it to Ethan without knowing the book's true significance and history. If Tabitha is not involved, and it is all Julie, her time travel could take her outside the town. This would be another game-changing development for From and could lead to some compelling story possibilities. It would also add new meaning to Julie and Ethan's first scene in the show, where Julie is playing with finger puppets in front of Ethan and pretends to play out a scenario related to Flight of the Cromenockle. While Julie may or may not be involved with the book's creation, it still feels like there is more to explore with the children's fantasy novel.